Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from group 11. But first, let us introduce ourselves. My name is Desmalia Irawan.
My name is Julio Jordan.
My name is Rani Anjani.
And now, we are going to explain about transformational grammar and functional grammar. A. Transformational grammar. Transformational grammar is a form of language analysis that establishes a relationship with the different elements in the sentence of a language and makes use of rules or transformation to recognize this relationship. According to Chomsky, transformational grammar is a theory of grammar that accounts for the construction of a language by linguistic transformation and phrase structures, also known as transformational generative grammar or TG or TGG. B. Functional grammar. Functional grammar is a way of looking at grammar in terms of how grammar is used. It is used for describing languages in functional terms. In a functional grammar, a language is interpreted as a system of meanings, accompanied by forms through which the meaning can be realized. The theory underlying functional grammar is systematic theory, which is a theory of meaning as a choice. It is functional in three different but closely related senses in its interpretation. First, of text. Second, of the system. Third, of the elements of linguistic structure. C. Deep and surface structure. The deep structure is a structure that allows the native speaker of a language to know what the sentence means. It may then be said that the deep structure expresses the semantic contents of a sentence, whereas the surface structure of a sentence determines its phonetic form. The surface structure is actually produced structure. It refers to the sentence as it is pronounced or written. Deep and surface structure system. Deep structure system. Comprehend literally to get the gist of the story. Comprehend deeply and probe ideas. Semantic system. Understanding word meanings from literal to subtle. Discuss and write about experiences or association related to words, precision, and word choice in writing. Schematic system. Constructing meaning at the whole text level, understanding themes, ideas, and concepts, storing and retrieving relevant knowledge, connecting the new to the known. Pragmatic system. Multiple experiences with ideas we have read or learned, sharing and applying meaning, constructing meaning through oral, written, artistic, and dramatic means, writing for specific purpose and audience, revising thinking based on interaction with others, adopting the habit and more of readers and writers. Surface structure system. Identifying words, reading fluently. Graphophonic system. Letter or sound knowledge, alphabetic principle, phonemic awareness, decoding. Lexical system. Visual word recognized based on frequent visual word recognized based on frequent visual exposure to words, visual memory for all words. And the last one is syntactic system. Understanding of language structures at the word, sentence, paragraph, and whole text level, or usually auditory.
Okay, here I want to explain part D. D. Language as a system of meaning. Language as a system of system because it consists of interdependent systems that only become fully meaningful when combined. We cannot think of spoken language without phonology, the individual sounds that make up words. But these sounds would be meaningless if they did not correspond to words that we understand as meaningful. Similarly, language would be incredibly limited if we had words but no way to pronounce them. In order for language to work, we need a way to say words phonology, meaning attached to these words morphology, and understandings of the meanings of words combined within a sentence or syntax, and an understanding of how greater nonverbal context informs of the meaning of language or pragmatics. While it is easy to think of language as simple and automatic if you are fluent in a language, there are many different systems that all work in conjunction to give this effect. This is especially clear if you ever try to learn a new language and realize how many different pieces you have to learn before you can easily navigate the language. The language is considered as a system primarily because it is made of linguistic units that are interdependent of each other. Since they are smaller units working within a full system, by default, language becomes a system of systems. The basic premise of this concept is that diversity of features that are found in language formation and production prevent it from being described in a dilute or generalized way. Instead, language study has to be pulled apart and studied by each of its multifunctional subsystems. The idea of language being a system of system comes primarily from an article written by Mulder and yang pas lu bilang Hervey 1975 and published linguistic. Mulder and Hervey's definition of language follows a functionalist perspective in which language is defined as a genus and as such it should be subdivided into a smaller subparts or systems. Five subsystems of language are identified as semantic rules of language content. It has a subsystem of its own based on vocabulary and word localization. Pragmatics. Rules of language use, functional and opportunist. Syntax. Rules for word order and arrangement. Morphology. Rules for word formation. Also has its own subsystem or morphologist. Phonology. Rules for how the language sounds or should sound. Therefore, the complexity of language and the fact that it's a composite tiga, of various functional parts are the condition that deem it quite correctly as a system of systems.
Well, and the last is metafunction. The term metafunction originates in systemic functional linguistics and is considered to be a property of all language. According to Michael Halliday, the founder of systemic functional linguistics, called these three functions the additional, interpersonal, and textual. The additional function is further divided into the experiential and logical. And the first is interpersonal. Interpersonal can enable us to cooperate, form bonds, negotiate, ask for things, and instruct. For example, let's go back to Winnie the Pooh, this time talking with Eeyore. It's my birthday, the happiest day of the year. Your birthday? Said Pooh in great surprise. Of course it is. Can't you see? Look at all the present I've had. Nah, karakter ini memberi informasi, ini hari ulang tahunku, dan bertanya, ini ulang tahunmu, tidak bisakah kamu melihat? Kedua pertanyaan ini ditandai oleh tanda tanya dalam bentuk tertulis. Tetapi jika diucapkan, contoh pertama akan sepenuhnya bergantung pada intonasi yang dalam SFL sama pentingnya dengan bagian tata bahasa, seperti kata-kata itu sendiri, untuk menandainya sebagai pertanyaan. Ada juga merupakan klausa yang sangat penting. Lihatlah semua hadiah yang saya miliki. Ini tidak memberikan informasi, memerintahkan Pooh untuk mengambil tindakan. Lalu, the second is irrational. Can allow us to talk about people and things, their action and relationship, and the place, times, or circumstance in which event occur. For example, here is another excerpt from Milne's Winnie the Pooh. One fine winter's day, when Piglet was brushing away the snow in front of his house, he happened to look up, and there was Winnie the Pooh. Nah, ini sangat mudah untuk mengidentifikasi peserta utama di setiap klausa dan bagaimana mereka mempengaruhi atau berhubungan satu sama lain. Sapuan salju Piglet, garis penglihatannya yang berubah yang mengingatkannya akan kehadiran Winnie the Pooh, dan waktu serta lokasi acara-acara ini semuanya diwakili oleh elemen-elemen yang terpisah dari klausa, noun, verb, adverbials. Elemen-elemen ini merupakan konten bahasa. And the last is textual. Textual associates grow and becomes more complex. And as the ways people communicate develop from speaking face-to-face to writing letters, novels, emails, etc., we require even more complex language to communicate effectively. For example, the piglet lived in a very grand house in the middle of a beech tree, and the beech tree was in the middle of the forest, and the piglet lived in the middle of the house. Berdasarkan pada metafora, contoh ini adalah ilustrasi yang bagus tentang puncak informasi yang mengatur dan mengurutkan teks. Titik awal klausa pertama, puncak informasi adalah Piglet. Klausa lainnya menyajikan informasi tentang di mana Piglet tinggal. Yang Milne ingin kita fokuskan itulah puncak informasi. Klausa berikutnya dimulai dengan pengulangan beech tree. Ini bukan lagi informasi baru, tetapi merupakan titik awal yang jelas untuk pesan tersebut. Kita berada di puncaknya lagi. Lokasi pohon disajikan di akhir klausa kedua untuk mencapai bagian terpenting dari pesan dan seterusnya. Well, that's all our presentation about transformational grammar and functional grammar. I hope you all understand about the material. Sorry for many mistakes. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.